Hello and welcome to Recycling. I'm Beth York with ZwiftWatch.tv.
And I'm Theia Friestedt with Volume Fit. And every week we bring you interesting topics in cycling.
Yeah, and I wanted to start off this week with some gear stuff. We haven't really talked about gear recently, but I think it's a good time, one, because we can start thinking about our Christmas lists or holiday gift giving and receiving, but also that it's getting darker and the days are getting shorter. So I was actually doing some digging on bike lights.
The interesting thing about bike lights is what not to do, I think. I think that most people would know that it's important to have lights on your bike. And not only during night, but also during the day. It's important to catch drivers' attention. But it might not be common knowledge that where you place your lights and how they operate are actually important.
Yeah, you know, you want to be seen and you want to make sure you catch the attention of the driver. So I think we were talking about those flashing lights that you put on the back of your bike. You want to make sure that they don't flash the same pattern, because it's really easy for the human eye to ignore sort of that. It kind of becomes background noise. So having a light that flashes intermittently in a different pattern is more likely to be seen by an oncoming car than one that just sort of flashes or stays on steady. So that's one thing.
Or having
another
I was just going to say that one is of fundamental importance. If you want to add other lights into your helmet, etc., I guess that's okay. But really, that rear light with that different pattern flashing is the most important one.
Yeah, you know, and I think too, when you're like thinking about driving in sort of different environments too, whether you're in the city or in the country road, sort of the brightness of those lights come into play. I was reading about different lumens and, you know, and it's, you want to make sure that you have enough contrast, because if you're on a busy city street, it's different than if you're on a back country road. And there was one on Cycling Tips that was kind of interesting that actually had, a bike camera incorporated into the light. And it got me kind of thinking, because I've been thinking more about putting a bike camera, and so I'm going to be checking this one out. I know some people, you know, want cameras and there's a little bit of a debate going on, but it seems like a pretty good idea to have a camera on your bike these days.
I would love to have it. I think I had some close calls a couple of times. Fortunately, I never got hit, but I know of so many stories. And we have heard recently, too, of stories of drivers that seemingly did hit cyclists on purpose. So having that camera in the back of your bike can be a game changer, I think. And what if all the cyclists started using that? Wouldn't the drivers then start to think twice about it?
Yeah, we've definitely seen those videos connect the perpetrator. You know, I mean, they find who these people are, and that's number one. So knowing that they're going to get caught from a hit and run, and this is really an assault with a deadly weapon.
Yeah,
I mean, and call it what it is. And you know. I feel like sometimes putting on the back of my shirt, like, I'm a mom and have 2 kids and a husband, and like, I want to get home, and everybody has people they need to get home to regardless. But it is one of those things where, you know, if you could at least have some accountability and have people think twice about, you know, the road rage part, I think that's a really good incentive to have them not. And even if they think you have a camera on there, I think it's a good thing. And there's different record times. So if you are looking at a camera, you want to look at, you know, sort of ease of operation, and there's a number of factors that you can look at, but having one is probably not a bad idea.
Having in the back of your jersey something that says, I have a camera.
Yes.
So drivers know.
Those like the ones that you put out in your yard that you say, like, you know, we're watching you. So
that's right.
Like,
that's
right. Yeah. Oh man.
So speaking of darkness, change, you know, getting darker a little earlier, how about we talk about the fact that we're going to be spending more and more time indoors in our pain caves, and we reached out to the community to gather some pictures of people's setups.
It's so I never get tired of seeing people's setups. I love seeing what people do and where they work out. And it is so cool that people have these like ingenious ideas. I mean, when I started, I had like a, you know, like a little bar stool with my little itty bitty laptop. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to buy a table. Yeah, let's go through a couple of the interesting ones. Why don't you start us off?
Sure. So this one is from one of our colleagues and one of my teammates, actually, from Team ODZ. And not having room is not an excuse, right? She's got the setup in her bedroom, and she even got her daughter set up with her, which is fantastic. And better yet, she was in a vacation home. It was actually her in-laws' beach house, and she brought over her kinetic trainer and her bike. That is dedication. And that's some nice in-laws too, to be able to do
Yeah.
that.
I would definitely really need a little outlet and break at the in-laws
Yes.
beach
Yeah,
house.
excuse me, I'm gonna go Zwift for a while.
Now I'm back to normal. I can handle this. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. And you know, then also, I mean, people sort of have different types of setups. I mean, here's one that was sent in that has a stages bike in their pain cave, and then also some of the decorations of the Sufferlandria posters for motivation. So I love the wall ornaments. You know, whether it's a poster or medals hanging in the background or numbers. It's always so cool.
Right, right. And then if you do live streams like I do, you might have a green screen. Probably you would have a green screen behind you, like this one from Ian Murray, coach and Team ODZ member. He's got the green screen. He's got also, oh, and he lives in the Dominican Republic, by the way. I was hoping I was going to see a big window, glass window, a view to the beach.
Well, you know, with the green screen, as you know, you can't have a lot of exterior light. You have to be in a
True.
dark place. So, you know, mine is in the little corner in the basement next to the sewer pipe. It's super fancy, but it works.
Right.
And then Mitch D, who also does live streams, has a pretty clever setup with his camera on that ladder in the back,
Can
and
barely see it.
yeah, it's back there though. Trust us. And then there's also a monitor there in the back, which is, you know, kind of like your setup, Theia, with the extra
A
extra
few extra
monitors.
monitors. You can never have enough.
No, you can't. So, and this one is kind of interesting. When I first saw it, you know, I think you raised the question, like, wait, you take the front wheel off? That was interesting.
Yeah, so
So
that's
an
an
old copy.
right, an
Old,
old CompuTrainer. I thought at first I thought, oh, maybe it's one of those new ones that adjust the front up and down
oh,
as
the
you.
kicker. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, but that turns out to be it's a nice place there, very well lit, pain cave there.
Yes. And then there's a Bat Cave from Batman.
If you Zwift enough, you might have seen Batman on course. So that's it, Bat Cave there,
Yeah.
and he's got a bowl of Wheaties on his saddle, if you look closely.
Oh gosh, that's so funny. That's so funny. And then this one I love because you know, the so many of the women that we know have used Zwift uh post baby to get themselves back. You know, not they don't have to leave their baby, but you still need to have maybe a baby gate to sort of give yourself a little bit of separation. So I like that's very cool.
Agree. And look at this one. You can never have enough fans.
Oh man,
Wow.
that is so true. That is so true. That is some cooling. That is some cooling. I think this particular one came from our friends in Arizona, so that might that might make a
Might
lot of
explain
sense.
it. The next one for creativity, that one, hey, you're looking for an adjustable table that adjusts the height. Why not use an ironing board?
I love it. I hadn't really ever thought about an ironing board, but I guess what we do is we take household items and make them work. But that's really clever, and it's one way to get out of your ironing, I think.
That's right.
I don't think I
Can't
ever thought.
iron.
I don't have any clothes anymore that require ironing. Like I feel like I'm at
Hmm.
that point in my life where everything is just sort of like a fabric that like you wash and hang to dry and it's
That's
done.
right.
Like I
That's right.
don't, you know, yeah.
There's a
And
perfect use
maybe a
for it.
dress that I get. Yeah, but I'm done with ironing. I'm over it. So I'm gonna steal that idea. I like it. Um,
Speaking of
other so
ideas,
yes. Okay. So I think some people might have seen this, but if you didn't, it's worth sharing. Coach Ruby is an amazing coach. She just recently wrote a blog that was published on Titanium Geek. You've probably ridden with her if you did any of the ZA rides. But she's also like works hands-on with her bike. And this summer she took her bike apart and completely like sanded it down and repainted it. And of course, it would be red for Ruby. We love
hmm
Ruby red. But she hunted. She was telling me that she looked so hard to find the right color and the right paint job, and then she meticulously finished it so that it has like this like sparkle. It is absolutely gorgeous. And then on top of that, then she put her bike back together again. I mean, I don't even want to take my wheel off half the time when
oh,
I
I
do
know, I know. It's
my
really
thing.
remarkable and inspirational how much she knows about her bike mechanics and everything that she needs to do. The red also that you mentioned that is sparkly, it's got a little fire to it because it's golden. And she put, I think, at the end a sticker with the Sufferlandria sticker in there on her bike.
Yes. She has been knighted, and she actually this weekend, actually on Saturday, she's got 6 women who are actually going to do the Sufferfest challenge that results in being knighted. And I think it's 10 back-to-back
I know it's
workouts.
crazy. I know it's
Yeah,
absolutely nuts.
and
Yeah.
you can only take 10 minutes off in between it. You can do it at whatever intensity you want. But if you've ever done one of the Sufferfest videos, you know that it is just insane. So they're going to do 10 of them. There's 6 women. They're going to be doing it on Zwifts. They're going to have their Sufferland video on one and the Zwift on the other. And they've created a Facebook post. So please go on, cheer on Coach Ruby and her 6 future knights, and they're also raising money and awareness for the Homestretch Foundation, and it has a lot of impact. So
Check it out.
give her some ride-ons,
That's
support
right.
that.
That's right. And so lots going on in Zwift. This weekend, you could give yourself a chance to suffer all weekend, like we just said. There's the Team Worlds getting closer. Every week we talk about it. It's getting closer. So people are finishing up, for example, the ODZ Endurance Lab to get ready for that Team Worlds. I can't wait to watch. I won't be able to participate, but I'll be watching. Um, Also, the E-Crit that started, the first week was this week. You did the
Yes,
East race, right, Beth? On
I did
Monday?
do the East race. Yes, it was a lot of fun. I think that I'm hoping more women will turn out next week. I think some of the language in the promotion might have been a little
Hmm.
intimidating in terms of the watts per kilogram
I,
range.
I think you mentioned
And
be ready to ride at 4 watts per kilogram or higher, something like that, which is,
yeah, I
I
mean, maybe
mean,
that's what the winners are doing, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't race.
yeah.
And they're giving out points for the top 20. So there were, I think, 12 on the East Coast or 10. There were like 3 in the West and only one, or 3 in the Central and only one in the West. So there are points on the table, ladies.
Yes,
Like
yes.
just
The
make more.
central, right. On Monday, there was only one woman from the central region. And I was actually chatting with her ahead of time. She's like, aren't you going to do it? Or I can't do it. It's at 7 p.m. my time. I know I got other things. But she was essentially teaching. She was working hard, even though she was by herself. She worked hard. She finished it. So yeah, jump on. There's room for points there and for the opportunity to race live in
There
January.
are. And I'll tell you, just the 10 women or 10 or 12 women that were in the East, I mean, we were like texting away, like saying, come on, keep it together. We were like, chatting it up, and it made the time go by. But uh, there were a couple strong women who just like, whew,
Yeah,
wow, great job. But you don't have to be 4 plus. I think that's the that's the headline. Just come on and
correct.
race.
Yeah. And also in Zwift this week, I led my first workout in the Zwift workout module. I know a couple of episodes back we showed the launching of that workout module in Zwift. I had the opportunity to lead through it. It was fun. There's messages that pop up during the event, of course, but then I did the live streaming, so I was able to add to, you know,
Do some
coaching on the
coaching.
experience to the riders during that. And you led
Yeah.
one too, right, Beth?
It was great. Yeah, I was leading for Swift Academy as you were, and there was some interest, and they added a ride, one of the semifinalist workouts. So I think they're going to do that for the next couple of weeks. They posted the Swift Academy semifinalist workouts, and they're going to post them for the group. And I did a group ride, and I led it. And I mean, it doesn't need to have a leader. You can just do a group workout, coordinate with your friends, and hop in on do it. But it went by so fast.
Yeah.
And it was so motivating because each interval, you knew if you stopped pedaling, you were going to get dropped. That's the only thing I knew about it going in, is like, just don't stop pedaling, girls. Just don't stop pedaling. Keep it going. And we had a good time. It was fun.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So let's do more.
So the other thing I guess we wanted to mention before we wrap up today is an amazing program that is out
Yes.
there. It's called the Supermint Ambassador Program. Beth, you want to tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, so the application deadline is November 20th. So we're going to include the link down below in the comments. But basically, it's open to, I think it's just the United States riders. They pair up 10 pro cyclists with 10 amateur cyclists. There's a small list of criteria, ages 12 to 99, anyone who has a desire to grow in the sport. And they basically pair you up with a pro as like a mentor that you kind of work with the whole year. And they give you discounted merchandise, and you get to go to the events. And so we'll include that link because I think that there is a large group of women who just came off the academy that might find this interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And they pick 10, and the deadline is November 20th, but the program starts January 1. So that link will be down in the comments.
That's very interesting. I had never heard of mentorship like that. And
Yeah.
it's not
No, it's
training,
kind of,
right? It's not like the pro cyclists are going to be giving training to the mentees. It's really, I guess, a form of encouragement and a sounding board or somebody to motivate you, somebody you can go to with questions. It's very
yeah, you have
awesome.
access to someone who has a different perspective, and that can really, help you along with sort of things that you are encountering as an amateur. And I think it's supposed to be a two-way street in terms of learning and sharing the experience. It's not just the pro to the amateur. It's sort of the pro also getting some insight and value from the amateur to kind of lift the sport up. And that's a good thing.
Excellent. Well, that's it for today. Thanks everyone for joining. We will see you next week.
Thank you.